Let's take a look at our next example. We want to write z equals radical 3 minus I in polar form. So we want to recall some information. Polar form means we have to have r and theta in our answer. In the past, we've also used Pythagorean theorem, so you have access to these two formulas here. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. And I'm going to go ahead and use inverse tangent of y over x to give me my theta value. Keep in mind we're going to be looking for theta somewhere between 0 and 2 pi in this example. The other piece that you want to keep tabs on is your x and y values off this point. Right? My x value was radical 3. My y value was a negative 1. If I was to go plot that point, I would end up in quadrant 4. So when I write my answer in polar form, make sure that the angle measure that you're talking about here when you get your theta gives you a point that's going to end up in quadrant 4. Let's go ahead and take a look at finding r first. Right? I can plug into my formula. My x value was radical 3. I'm going to square it. My y value was negative 1. Also going to square it. And when I'm done, I want to go ahead and take the square root so I can solve for r. When we do this, we're going to get an r value of positive 2. And now let's go ahead and take a look at solving for theta. I'm going to go ahead and use my inverse tangent formula. I've got inverse tangent of negative 1 over radical 3. And I'm going to go ahead and work in degrees. When I calculate that out, I'm going to get a theta value of negative 30 degrees. Keep in mind that we want to make sure that we're in quadrant 4, so we want that angle measure to be something positive and something between 0 and 2 pi. So if I'm working with my degrees for right now, I'm going to use an angle measure of 330 degrees since I'm in quadrant 4. I went ahead and converted my angle measure to 11 pi over 6 since I'm working with radians and I wanted to be between 0 and 2 pi. And now I can go write my answer. Right? We want to write this z point in polar form. So you had two options here, right? This is my r value, my positive 2, and I decided to keep my r factored out. Inside my parentheses here is going to read cosine of 11 pi over 6 plus I sine of 11 pi over 6. If you were writing this with degrees, 2 times cosine of 330 degrees plus I sine of 330 degrees would be the equivalent.